Now, last time you asked me about fights and, answered basically about whether I'd been in them or not.
Yep.
Answer, avoided them.
My exact question was the fight situation.
Yeah, so that's not really a question, 1 and 2. So we'll expound upon the fight situation, and I'm going to tell you about fights I did see, which I did see a bazillion of them. Now, I'm going to tell you about the worst fight I saw in county.
You're talking worst as in the most technically horrible?
No, worst as in
getting
terrifying.
the shit pushed in.
I'm going to tell you about the worst one I saw in county jail and the worst one I saw in prison. The worst one I saw in county jail was between a guy they called Old School. Most old schools are called old schools. That means people have been around the system, not their first rodeo, and they're old. They know the system. They know how to work around things and stuff like that. Old School was an old fucking school for real. He was an old black man that been in prison, in and out of prison his whole fucking life. And he was just institutionalized. He knew the ins and outs. He knew how to, canoodle with the guards and weasel them out of stuff. He knew his way, and
He was doing his own thing.
Yeah, he was literally, this guy is not ever going to be out of prison. He's institutionalized. But he was a cool cat, man. He got to that point in his life where that was his life. And he had to take care of that and do what he had to do. Now, he was a big, friendly motherfucker. Imagine, if Michael Clark Duncan was fat.
Yeah. Did you call him Big Mike?
And I didn't. I just called him Old School. But there you go. This happened between Old School and Memphis, which I mentioned in the other video about the fight situation. And Memphis was a loudmouth, braggart youngster. The youngsters are the worst in prison. I got lucky to have gone. Not lucky because prison fucking sucks. But I went in at an age where my peers were a lot more calm. The youngsters come in hard, rock and rolling, man. They just come in being reckless and fucking like tornadoes, like human tornadoes. And Memphis was relatively young, 22-ish, somewhere around there. And he was just that guy that thought he could do it all and what have you. And he was real aggressive and, he had the size for sure. He was a big man, as in tall and strong. And it happened between these two because, you see, Old School, he liked to watch them Mexican novellas.
Oh, man.
And if you've seen Mexican novellas, you know that it's just violence and tits and ass. And that's basically all it is. Yeah. And he liked the ladies and he liked to watch these Mexican novellas. And he would spend like the first 4 hours of the day watching them. And that was his thing. People would be like, yeah, it's school's going to watch and there was a bunch of Mexicans in there, so they'd watch it anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's what he would do, man. Daily. That was his routine. That's how he does. Well, Memphis decides.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
Memphis decides, you know what? It's time for Memphis to get his television time. Now, routine is very important in prison, In fact, to make your time go fast, just like in life, you got to establish a routine that you're familiar with, that you can go through on a daily basis just to make things work, to make you go forward. Well, part of the routine of the entire dorm was old schools, fucking 4-hour block of novellas. It was just expected. Well, this morning, fucking Memphis struts out there. I don't know what this is.
Nope.
He struts out there with his little fucking crony, this asshole youngster that sucked ass. His little backup boy, his little butt leech. He struts out there and he just goes up to the fucking TV like nothing, man. He just goes up and he boop boop. He changes that bastard. And school's like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, we're gonna listen to music today because it was a music station on TV. And he's like, no, man, we're watching this. Boop boop. And already everybody in the dorm goes, yeah, that's it. It's fucking gonna be a fight right here, So all the Mexicans do like Mexicans are wont to do.
Yeah, and gather around.
They gather around and just stick to the walls and go, let's just watch what happens.
Yep.
All the white guys are over there going like, fuck, let me hide under these stairs. And that's just how it goes in prison. I mean, what can I tell you? And so, yeah, basically everybody clears out of the way. There's only 2 black guys in this dorm, by the way, because that's another different story why that happens. But anyway, and it happens to be Memphis. 3 black guys. It happens to be Memphis, his friend in school. Mm-hmm. And, so they continue back and forth. Nope, this station. Nope, this station. And Memphis turns around and just socks school in the face. I mean, he fucking socks him hard, man. But School doesn't flinch. Obviously he reacts to the punch, but he just looks at him and he goes, "We're leaving it here," and he changes it back. And Memphis decides, that's it. I'm going whole hog over this fucking TV situation, and he just starts knocking into School. School's not even fighting back. He's just standing there taking these punches like nothing, man. Nothing. It's not even affecting him. Well, he gets tired of that, and School grabs him. Now we have these tables where everybody would sit. And of course, they're concrete and metal tables that nobody can pick up or move and all that shit, right? And the seats are likewise the same. School grabs Memphis by the head. Doesn't even hit him once. Doesn't punch him. Nothing. School's bleeding already, by the way, from his lips and his eye and all that shit. He grabs Memphis by the head, goes over to this seat, and just proceeds to smash his head into the seat. And he's a big fucking strong dude. Prison strong, no less. He is there's blood everywhere, man. There's blood on the floor. It's splashing all over the place. There's people going, what the fuck? Well, in the midst of this, again, all the Mexicans are just up against the wall watching.
They're watching, dude. They got their chicharrones and shit.
Yeah. In the midst of this, Memphis's friend decides, I'm going to put my 2 cents into this fight and help my boy.
That's a good idea, dude.
Which you don't do. You're not supposed to do in prison, but I saw a lot of people do this. They interfere in fights. It's supposed to be one-on-one, that's it, unless it's a gang situation. But anyway, the guy, Memphis's friend, is standing right next to one of these Mexican gang types, right? And he begins to undo his little jumper, and the Mexican guy, his name was Money, by the way. Money goes, you ain't going nowhere, and he holds him. Well, this guy, I don't know how the fuck he did this, dude, but somehow the moment that Money grabbed Memphis's little friend's jumper, he literally like fucking teleported out of it, dude.
Like this?
Yeah, he did like this weird little parrot move, and he's out of it. He's out of his jumper.
Nude.
And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Is he nude?
But no, he's wearing boxers underneath.
But other than that, ass nude.
Yeah, he fucking phases out of this fucking jumper. And there's the tables, right? There's the one where Memphis is getting beat to a bloody pulp, and there's 2 more.
I like how you just said that casually.
Yeah. And this dude phases out of his jumper, but instead of going to help Memphis, he runs over the first table, the second table, the third table, then up the stairs, because it's a 2-story situation. And he runs up the stairs, and we're like, huh? I thought he was going to go help Memphis. Okay. Well, anyway, in the meantime, Memphis's face is a bloody pulp. There's fucking blood everywhere. Gore galore.
We're talking that guy from Daredevil, the Kingpin smashes the...
Yeah.
Talking that situation.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not... Say that. Yeah. It's not pretty. Well, in prison, when the guards catch this, they call in a unit. We call them the Ninja Turtles because they wear all this gear, to protect themselves. And they come in and they'll...
And because they're radioactive...
well, yeah, they're mutants.
Teenage turtles.
That's beside the point. They come in, and they'll come in with batons and shields and shit, and they'll spray the room with pepper spray.
Yeah.
So anyway...
What's the pepper spray situation, first of all?
I never got pepper spray direct in the face.
You can still get the
oh, yeah,
right?
it fucks you up. You start tearing up and crying, and that's without ever getting hit in the face. But we'll talk about getting hit in the face because these guys come in and School doesn't even stop. He's still beating the shit out of Memphis, right? And they're like, stop, everybody get down on the ground, right? Is their command. And all the Mexicans, we're on the ground, man.
Just phasing there.
But the white guys that were under the stairs, they're not moving. They're like, fuck. And we're like, what the fuck? Why aren't they getting on the ground? And the Ninja Turtles are like, get down, get down. Fucking white guys are like, we can. And we're like, what? Just get the fuck down, bitch. They're going to spray you. Oh, sure enough, they get sprayed right in the face. Hard, man. Like right, not even about as close. Maybe even closer than this. And they hit the ground writhing in agony, of course. And then they go in and they separate Memphis and fucking Old School. And they take them away. That's it. Fight's over. Blood everywhere. They lock us all in the Thunderdome. That is to say, the room where I lived, all of us, all of the pod into one dorm, and we're all looking out, waiting to see what happens, right? Then we remember the guy, Memphis's friend, that fucking phased out of his fucking suit. And we're like, hey, where the fuck's this asshole? I can't remember his name. Where the fuck is this asshole? And everyone's like, yeah, he's not in here. What the fuck? They didn't take him. Where the fuck is he? And the guy's like, well, he ran upstairs. Oh, and by the way, before I continue with that, the Y guys are also taken away because they resisted.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're like, what the fuck? Where the fuck? Anyway, eventually one of these Y guys is brought back, and he's red, man, red in the face, still crying. He got fucked up pretty bad, and that sucks for him because, as it turns out, the reason he didn't want to hit the floor is there was shit under the stairs. And we're like, what? Why was there shit? And he's like, look, and he points outside the window. And we look, and the little guy that phased out of his fucking suit, turns out he shit himself. And as he ran over the tables, he left a thin trail of shit over each table. And apparently, as he was running up the stairs, he shit himself. And that's why they couldn't hit the ground, because there was shit all over the floor. Yeah. So we're like, what the fuck? What? I mean, it's just like, what do we even say to that, right?
Yeah.
And the guards come in. They find the guy upstairs in the toilet. And they make him come down and clean his shit. And everybody's laughing. And anyway, he cleans the shit. They make him sweep up the blood too, or mop up the blood. And we never saw him again.
All right.
But that was the funniest,
was it like
yet most brutal fight I saw.
Was it like a fear shit, or he just had to take a dump?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm guessing fear because he was like, it looked like he was gonna interfere in the fight.
Yeah, and then he phased out.
But then he fucking teleported to Neptune. I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, that was both an incredibly bloody fight and violent, but it was overshadowed by the shit situation, so it was funny as well. Now, as for the most horrible fight I saw in prison, it was this dude who was I'm pretty sure was a sex offender, because I met the guy and he was nice to me. He was nice. He kept a low profile, and he was, how should I say this? He didn't fuck with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Besides the low profile, he just didn't fuck with anyone. So even if you're a person of that particular ilk, you can probably get by. You know what I'm saying? But apparently word got out that he was that. I can't verify whether he was or not, because I don't know. But he was this older guy, about, I'm gonna say like 45, and he got beat. They broke his legs. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? They beat him the fuck up first, till he couldn't get up. Then they held his legs out on top of each other, like sideways. And somebody jumped on them until he broke both of his legs. And no, guards didn't stop him. They didn't care. They didn't want to get involved. It's different in prison, you know what I'm saying? They'll stop shit, but by then it'll be too late. And anyway, they broke his legs and dragged him out. I never saw the guy again. I don't know what happened to him. That was the worst. I saw the aftermath of something awful. It happened in another dorm at this other unit I was at, where there was this race war going on, and they were getting rid of all the black guys. Basically, the white people and the Mexicans got together and said, we're not going to abide black people on this unit anymore. Again, that has a lot to do with the politics of prison. It's just the way it goes sometimes. And in that particular section of the unit, I should say, they were doing that. Not where I was at. And there was plenty of black people where I was at, and it was fine. But apparently this all happened over, I can't remember what it was, man. I want to say it was the Super Bowl or some bullshit like that.
Of course.
No. Correction. It was a Mexican guy's birthday.
What?
And they were all drinking prison hooch. And the black guys told them to shut the hell up, which is unusual. Now, before that sounds racist, black guys in prisons, they're fucking up 24/7, and they're always making some sort of noise. So it's unusual for them to say to somebody, shut up, because they're usually the ones that people are like, fuck, man, shut up. Now, it sounds like I'm generalizing, but that's literally how it is in prison. But anyway, they apparently told these people to shut the hell up, and the guy's response was to cut the guy's throat.
That's a good response.
So he cut his throat, man, and they locked us down for a while. And when they let us out, because we weren't the dorm and or building involved in this, they let us out to eat. Unlike who they locked down, there was where they carried the guy from the dorm to the ambulance. There was just this huge trail of blood going to. So I don't know if that guy lived, because that was a fucking shitload of blood everywhere. And that was like 2 days afterwards. So I didn't actually see that, but I saw the aftermath. And then just to close this off, there was another fight I saw that was pretty terrible because of the way it went. They're all terrible. Because even though these are horrible people, sometimes they're just people that made a mistake. It just, it doesn't matter who they are, is what I'm saying. To see people beat each other senseless is horrible. But look, in real life, mind you. Give me a movie where that happens and apparently I'm happy. But the point is...
Not if you're a world star.
That's true. But, yeah, man, these fucking dudes... Okay, it was an older guy and a young guy. And they were cellies and they were disputing over something. Somebody got in somebody's way or something or other. Some bullshit respect garbage that goes on in prison. And the younger guy swiped at the older guy, and the older guy stepped back and slipped, and he tripped backwards, and he hit his head on the bunk and bled out to death.
All right.
He died because he tripped and he hit something wrong. And he was just this quivering mess on the floor, and nobody could do anything. Well, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even the guy that was going to fight him was like, you could see the impact on his face. Like, holy fuck, this dude's fucking dead now. So, yeah, that was...
When the guards don't give a shit.
Nah, they came in, the guy was already fucking gone. They didn't give a fucking crap.
We should probably get into the guards soon.
We should. And we will.
Yeah.
But anyway...
It's a little teaser.
This has been more about the fight situation.
Mm-hmm. Started amusing, got really depressing.
Got really fucking horrible.
Yep.
But anyway, this has been Ahab and the Goontick talking the lockup. Hit like, share, subscribe. Those notifications to be on the squad. Notification squad, I guess. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yep. The Ninja Turtle squad.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gone.